Hi everyone, welcome to Get Real with Real Estate, and today I have a very special guest, Miss Bianca Lovett. I am really excited for you to listen to her story and everything she has to share with us today. So Miss Bianca, why don't you tell our viewers today all about you?
Well, thanks for having me, Pam.
You're welcome.
I always love talking to you and listening to what you have to say. So as far as about me, I love real estate. I've been doing it since 2004. And what I would say brought me to this career is because I worked for a builder for a few years, and I worked for two different builders, and it just intrigued me, the real estate aspect of things. And I had done sales and marketing for quite some time, and I decided, okay, new career, I want to do real estate. So I got my license in 2004.
Great.
So I've been doing real estate since then. So it's been over 17 years now. And I love it.
I know you do. It shows in all that you do. Bianca, thank you so much again for being here, and I appreciate all of your years in the business and how much you've contributed to the profession. I know that all your customers love you. I know you've helped hundreds and hundreds of families, so thank you for that. And that's the reason why I really wanted to have you here today as a guest, because I believe in my heart and soul that you can shed some insight to the new agents coming in the business. So would you share with us some of the struggles that you've had in the industry?
Well,
and maybe what you've learned from them?
Absolutely. Well, thanks for giving me the opportunity. I'm glad to share, for sure. I feel very fortunate that I've had some incredible brokers, of course, yourself included.
Thank you.
And I've learned a lot in the 17 years. But, you know, the market is always going to change. That's one reason why I think I love real estate so much, is that it's never a dull moment. I've told people this before. It's like no two real estate deals are ever exactly the same.
Absolutely.
You've got a different buyer, you've got a different seller, you've got a different piece of property. Pricing and market conditions are always different from transaction to transaction. So I try to focus on the families that I'm working with, the customers I'm working with, and what their needs are, and just roll. There's so many factors we can't control. So what I can control and what other agents can control is the customer service excellence that you can provide for your customers. And that to me, I mean, I'm still getting referrals from people. I had a closing last month that that particular customer came to me from a recommendation from their grandfather that I had actually found a home for. I was working for another RE/MAX office then, and it was 2005, I think. And yes, I've tried to stay in touch with those customers, but when I got that phone call, it was like, wow.
Right.
You know, that means so much. And I get a lot of referrals, and any agent who's getting started in this business should know that, you know, referrals is the bulk of our business. And how satisfying is that when you get a phone call, you get somebody referring you because you did such an exceptional and memorable job for them 10, 15 years ago, that they want you to help their family.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's profound for sure.
That really means a lot to me. I feel like this business, it doesn't seem like work to me. It feels like what I'm supposed to do. And I think that's because I look at it as that I'm helping people, I'm helping families. My educational background's in social work and psychology. And you and I both know that helps us a lot
in
this business, because we come across so many different types of people,
right,
and they've all got their own goals. So I would say listening to what the customer is telling us is key. I have so many of my customers telling me that they had worked with other agents, and they had really felt maybe that the agent wasn't listening to them, and that's why they were hopping from agent to agent. But when somebody tells me that, I feel like it's like throwing down the gauntlet. Bianca, they need your help. You're a good listener. It's all about them. And that's how I tried to treat all my customers.
Right.
It is all about them.
And I think you brought a point to my mind that resonates really well, is sometimes even throughout the transaction, people will they change from day to day.
Yes.
So when you're helping a family, what need starts at the beginning, and then where we are in the middle of the process or the transaction, or whether you're representing a seller or a buyer, we need to be ready to shift because their needs also change.
Yes.
So their needs from the beginning and the end are not always the same. So we have to be really intuitive to the customer and give them the time to understand their needs.
I totally agree with you, 100%. I feel like at this point, I've been doing it so long, and I worked for 2 different builders before I actually got my real estate license. And then I'd done customer service, marketing, sales. It all goes together, all that knowledge I gained from all those other positions to what I'm doing now. But it all goes down to listening to the customer, providing excellent customer service, and like you say, being flexible. I think it's funny sometimes that a customer will give you this list of, this is what I want, this is how much I want to spend and everything. But the more I listen to them as I'm showing them different properties, the more I'm formulating in my mind, well, I know this is what they're saying, but I think if I show them this, that they're going to really appreciate it. Because a lot of people coming here, they don't know our market. So you have to kind of do the matchmaking thing. Okay, this neighborhood or this community might work better for them.
Right.
And that all goes back to, the prep work as far as even before you actually meet them. If you have an opportunity to ask them a few questions. Some people are very guarded. They don't want to answer questions until you actually physically meet them. But if you can get a little feel for them, so then you can do that matchmaking things that we as realtors do, and matching the customer with the right property.
Right.
And I find satisfaction in so many times, and I'm sure you're the same way, that they pick out homes they want to see and everything, but I take that criteria and what I'm feeling and learning about them, and then I'll throw one into the mix. And I can't tell you how many times
that's the one.
That's the one. That's the house. That's the house they buy. Bianca, I'm so happy you found this property for us. This is exactly what we're looking for. And that's our job.
Yeah, it is.
That's what we do.
It is. And I think what you're doing is you're tapping into, one of the questions I always like to ask is, tell me about your lifestyle and tell me what you imagine relocating here to Florida. What does that look like to you? And when you can dive deep into what their envision is, it's not always the 3-2, pool or fence and yard.
Right.
It's what do you see your lifestyle like here in Florida?
Exactly.
And that's when you can really tap into what home means to them.
Right.
And always, goes back to obviously listening, but that's what we do. And behind the scenes is help them self-discover what it is they need.
Yeah, when we first meet them, this is not their home yet.
Right.
Okay, but
they've envisioned what they want it to be like.
They've envisioned what they want their home to be like, and by listening and spending time with them and checking their reactions on certain features or certain neighborhoods, then that allows us to do our job better and to do that match with the right customer and the right property and everything, and so they can feel like they found their home.
Right.
And then that lifestyle, like you say, that definitely we're selling lifestyle is what we are here in Florida. And how many times do you say it a week? I know I still say that Palm Coast and Flagler is still an undiscovered treasure.
It absolutely is.
More and more people have discovered it, but it's such an ideal place to live. We have so many features and qualities.
Absolutely.
If you want waterfront living, we've got that. If you want to keep to yourself, you can do that. I mean, and the walking trails and the bike trails, to have an active, an active lifestyle, it's all here.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I'd like to ask is a defining moment or a challenge that you've had in your career that you'd like to share that maybe you've learned something from that would also kind of help a young person in the industry.
Well, I would say the main thing, and I have always preferred to work with buyers, okay? Mm-hmm. And I know to be an effective real estate agent, we have to work with sellers and buyers as well. But there was an instance that happened early in my real estate career that really shaped my viewpoint, I think, and it really defined me and the way I look at things. And that is that we were in a multiple offer situations on one of my listings, which was a very desirable beach home in Flagler Beach, 3 stories, 3.5 baths, 5 bedrooms.
Wow.
And
beautiful.
Just a unique property in a very small HOA community, just, like a block from the ocean. And we had like multiple offers. It was a custom home, by the way, and the sellers had lived in it for quite some time. And we had 4 offers on it. Well, they wanted to move and they wanted to downsize. That was the reason we listed the property. But what had happened was we got the 4 offers. They were all, within reasonable offers for what the listing amount was, which was in the high 6s at that time. And unfortunately, we didn't come to terms on any of those offers. The husband really kind of dug his heels in and didn't even want to counter any of those. Well, unfortunately, the very next week he had a stroke. Wow. And he did not survive that stroke. I actually did visit him and saw his family in the hospital. And so, he was in the hospital for maybe a week. And I just felt like, you know what? That house was such a home to him. He really didn't want to leave. And in fact, he never did.
Wow.
What was challenging in that situation, besides going through all that with their family, is then the wife, after a short time of mourning, wanted me to go back and try to revive some interest with those buyers, and they had found something else and moved on. Unfortunately, the market crashed right after that, and the wife, who was the remaining seller, ended up selling that house for about $200,000 less than what our offers were that we had. So that broke my heart, and
for sure.
Actually, I'm now a senior residential specialist and just completed that training last month.
That's wonderful.
And, we learn from, I try to learn from every situation and every family and every transaction. That was something for the longest time. I didn't want any more listings because I was just thought maybe somebody else can handle this better than I did. But in retrospect, now I look at it and it wasn't me. I did try to negotiate the offers and everything, and I understand why things happened the way they did. But it made me realize there's just a lot more to this business than anyone can imagine, unless they've been doing it for a short period of time, and then after you've been doing it, for as long as we have and everything, you meet so many different people, and we can really impact lives.
Absolutely. I think I love that, and for me, what's speaking to my heart is, so many times I don't want to offend any of the viewers who are seeing this, but one of the things that we see so often posted on social media is, sold in a day or sold in 3 days.
Right.
And no one really gets to see the emotion and the human interaction and
Right.
all of the work. And I mean like how much emotionally work we are
Right.
consulting the buyers and the sellers. I mean, there's so much that's happening.
Yes.
And it's sold in a day. It doesn't sell in a day.
Right.
You know what I mean? It takes
Right.
it takes time.
Right.
I mean, and we're dealing with a lot of emotion. And yes, there are many sellers that we are consulting that, that maybe they're not sure what they want. They don't know that they want to sell. And then, this is where they raise their family. This is where they, their grandchildren come to. So helping them, again, self-discover what it is that they need. And it's so important when we go out on a listing appointment, really just coaching them, especially now more than ever, because the market is moving so rapidly.
Right.
That I think it's our job to tell them when we're out there, what does it look like when we do sell your home? Because we will.
Right.
So what does that look like for you? Where are you going to go? Do you have a home? And it's just having a conversation and caring and guiding them through the process. I think you're amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. And the feeling is mutual.
Yes, likewise. So tell us a little bit, if you had one piece of advice that you'd give someone new in business, in the career, what would that be?
I would say to invest in continuing education and try to learn as much as you can, so you'll have that in your toolbox to help your customers. And I know I keep saying it, but I can't emphasize it enough. You need to listen to your customers
Absolutely.
when they're in front of you, because if they feel like you're not listening to them, they'll find somebody else who will.
Yeah.
Because I've always thought that people are hungry for good customer service.
Absolutely.
And, I like to show all my customers with respect. And, one of the most respectful things I think you can do is listen to what they're telling you and what is important to them. And sometimes we have to listen, even though they're not saying it. We have to put two and two together.
Right.
As to what they might mean, what they might need, or what they might mean, or they're putting their lifestyle in your hands.
Right.
So it's really important what we do.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it's not all about how much money you can make or how many transactions you can do in 1 year. I think we talked, before about this. At this point in my career, I know I've helped hundreds of people, hundreds of families.
Right.
And that is very satisfying to me. And, when you get a call, like I said, out of the blue,
Right, absolutely.
It could be 10 years ago, it could be 2 years ago, it could be 2 months ago, and somebody refers you to them, their family, or
Absolutely.
their friends. That's the highest compliment you can actually
Absolutely.
get. So that's what I would tell new agents, is work on that. Every person you talk to is just as important as the last one or the next one.
Absolutely.
And,
Yeah.
treat everybody with some respect, because they deserve it. We all deserve it.
Absolutely. It's a relationship, not a transaction.
Absolutely.
And that's why they come back to you all the time, over and over.
And I like to build my business that way. And I think you and I both know too, it gets to a point where, not everybody I meet might be a good fit for me.
Right.
So then I'll refer them to another agent that might be a better fit for their
them.
mindset. So I've done that quite a few times too, because at this point in my career, I only want to work with nice people.
Right.
And, life is too short.
It is. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this was wonderful.
Well,
this was
thank
wonderful.
you.
Thank you so much for sharing so openly.
Of course.
And sharing with the viewers. I really appreciate your time today.
Anytime.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Bianca Lovett here with Get Real with Real Estate. We appreciate you, and stay tuned for our next episode.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bianca.
Thanks.